All right, so, like, imagine this. You hand me a whole stack of articles, some YouTube links, maybe even some scribbled notes about mandarin ducks, right? Like, you're fascinated by these birds, but you're kind of overwhelmed by all the info. Well, that's where we come in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of the mandarin duck, a creature that's just, like, steeped in mystery and symbolism with a backstory as vibrant as its plumage.
Yeah, what's really captivating about the mandarin duck is that it's not just a visually stunning bird, you know? It's a species that holds a real significant place in culture and faces some real conservation challenges.
Exactly. But first, let's talk about those looks. Have you ever seen anything like the male mandarin duck? The sources describe their plumage as like an explosion of blue, red, green, and gold. It's like nature just took every color in the crayon box and was like, let's just put it all on this one bird.
Yeah, it's a striking example of sexual dimorphism in birds, and it goes beyond just, looking pretty. That vibrant coloration in males is likely a result of intense sexual selection. Think of it as like an evolutionary fashion show, where the males with the most eye-catching displays have a better chance of attracting mates.
And the females are rocking a more, like, understated look.
Precisely. The sources describe the females as having more of a subdued brown coloration with a distinctive white eye stripe. And this makes sense, from a survival standpoint. While the males are trying to stand out, the females, who are often responsible for nesting and caring for eggs, benefit more from camouflage, right, to protect themselves and their young.
I'm curious, though. This sexual dimorphism, it makes me wonder about the evolutionary pressures at play. Are there specific studies that shed light on why such dramatic differences evolved in this particular species?
Well, there's ongoing research into the specific genetic and environmental factors that contribute to these differences, right? And some studies suggest that the intensity of the male's coloration might be linked to their overall health and fitness, signaling to females that they're choosing a strong and capable mate.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about conveying a message of genetic fitness.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Okay, so we've got these feathered fashion icons strutting their stuff, but where do they actually call home?
Well, mandarin ducks are native to East Asia, China, Japan, and Korea. But here's where it gets really interesting. They've also been introduced to parts of Europe, and there's a thriving population right in the heart of Berlin.
Berlin? Yeah. Germany. That seems like a huge leap from their natural habitat. How do they end up there?
It's thought that the Berlin population originated from captive birds that either escaped or were released.
Well,
What's remarkable is how they've managed to adapt and flourish in this very urban environment, right? Despite being so far from their native range, it raises all sorts of questions about the adaptability of species, and the potential impact of introductions on those local ecosystems.
speaking of impact, the sources mention that the introduction of a new species can have, some unforeseen consequences. What are some of the potential ecological concerns when a species like the mandarin duck establishes itself in a new environment?
Right. Well, that's a key point. While it might seem harmless to have these beautiful ducks gracing city parks, there's always the potential for competition with native waterfowl for resources, right? Like food and nesting sites. And researchers are studying whether their presence might also lead to the introduction of new diseases or parasites.
It's a reminder that even seemingly positive changes in the natural world can have complex ripple effects. Okay, so we've got dazzling looks, unexpected locations, but there's another layer to this story that really caught my attention, this whole monogamy mystery.
Yes. The mandarin duck is often held up as a symbol of enduring love and fidelity, but the scientific reality is a bit more nuanced, I'd say.
Right. The sources highlight that while they're celebrated for their monogamy, there's still so much we just don't know about how they choose their partners and maintain those bonds over time. It's like we've put them on this pedestal of romantic idealism, but the science is still catching up.
Exactly, and it challenges our assumptions about monogamy in the animal kingdom, While long-term pair bonds are observed in mandarin ducks, there's evidence to suggest that extra pair copulations or mating outside of the established pair might occur more frequently than we previously thought.
So even in this seemingly picture-perfect model of like avian romance, there might be a bit more drama going on behind the scenes.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time nature has surprised us with its complexities. And it makes the mandarin duck's story even more intriguing, doesn't it? We're looking at this creature that symbolizes enduring love, but we're also grappling with the messy realities of biology and evolution.
Yeah, it definitely adds a layer of intrigue. But let's move beyond like their love lives for a sec.
Yeah.
What else can we uncover about the mandarin duck's behavior?
Well, for starters, they're remarkably adaptable when it comes to their diet. They're omnivores. So they consume a variety of things, like seeds, insects, aquatic plants, and even small crustaceans.
Huh. That makes sense, given, their ability to thrive in such different environments.
Yeah.
But speaking of adaptability, the sources mention that the males have these elaborate courtship displays. Can you paint us a picture of what that actually looks like?
Okay, so picture this. The male, with his vibrant plumage on full display, right? He starts by raising his iridescent crest, those long feathers on his head, which creates this striking visual. And then he'll bob his head, flap his wings, and even let out these whistling calls, all designed to capture the female's attention. It's like a carefully choreographed dance, almost a symphony of movements and sounds.
Wow, that sounds incredible. And I'm guessing those displays aren't just for show, right? There's probably some evolutionary advantage to all that effort.
Exactly. Those elaborate displays likely serve multiple purposes, They're a way for males to demonstrate their fitness to potential mates, signaling their strength, agility, and overall health. It's like saying, hey, look at me. I'm strong and healthy, and I can provide for you and our offspring.
So it's not just about good looks. It's about showing off those, survival skills, too.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what the females are looking for in a mate. Are they drawn to the most flamboyant displays, or are there, other factors at play?
Well, that's a question that continues to fascinate researchers, right? It's likely a combination of visual cues, like the vibrancy of the male's plumage, and behavioral signals, like the complexity of their courtship rituals. Some studies even suggest that females might be assessing the quality of the male's territory as a sign of his ability to provide resources and protection.
It's like they're conducting their own avian background checks. Okay, so let's say a pair has successfully, coupled up. Where do they choose to nest and raise their ducklings?
Well, mandarin ducks prefer to nest in tree cavities, ideally located near water sources. These cavities provide protection from predators and offer a safe haven for their young. And the female typically lays between 9 and 12 eggs.
Huh. It's amazing to think about these birds, navigating such different landscapes, from the forests of East Asia to the urban parks of Berlin, yet still maintaining these specific nesting preferences. But on a more serious note, the sources also highlight that their wild populations are facing some real threats.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's true. Habitat loss due to things like deforestation and development is a major concern because it reduces the availability of suitable nesting sites. And hunting, both for their meat and their beautiful feathers, is another significant threat in some regions.
That's heartbreaking. But are there any efforts being made to protect them and ensure their survival?
Yes, there are. Conservation organizations are working to protect and restore mandarin duck habitats, advocating for anti-hunting regulations, and raising awareness about the importance of their conservation. Breeding programs in captivity also play a role in bolstering populations and maintaining genetic diversity.
So there's hope for the future of these remarkable birds. But what can everyday people like our listeners do to help? It can feel overwhelming to know where to start.
Yeah, it can. But even small actions can make a difference, right? Supporting conservation organizations working to protect mandarin ducks is a great first step. You can donate, volunteer, or simply help spread awareness by sharing information about their plight with your, friends and family. Even something as simple as choosing sustainable products and reducing your overall impact on the environment can indirectly benefit species like the mandarin duck.
It's a reminder that we're all interconnected, and our actions have, ripple effects throughout the ecosystem. Speaking of connections, the sources mention that the mandarin duck holds a special place in Japanese culture. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. In Japan, the mandarin duck is revered as a symbol of love, fidelity, and good fortune. They're often depicted in art literature and traditional wedding ceremonies, representing the enduring bond between couples.
That's so beautiful. It's like their existence embodies these cherished human ideals.
Right.
I can see why they've captivated people's imaginations for centuries.
Absolutely, and it adds another layer to the importance of their conservation. We're not just protecting a species, right? We're preserving a cultural symbol, a piece of shared human heritage. It's a reminder that conservation isn't just about science and data. It's about connecting with nature on a deeper level, appreciating its beauty and cultural significance.
You've touched on something really important there. It's easy to get caught up in the scientific details, the threats, the conservation efforts. But ultimately, it's that emotional connection, that sense of wonder and appreciation that drives our desire to protect these creatures.
I couldn't agree more. It's that spark of fascination that ignites curiosity, inspires action, and ultimately fuels the passion for conservation.
Speaking of sparking curiosity, I have to admit I'm still hooked on the mysteries surrounding their, mate selection. Are scientists any closer to cracking the code? Is there a chance we might one day understand the secret to their long-lasting partnerships?
Yeah. It feels like we've stumbled onto like a real-life mystery novel with chapters on evolution, ecology, and maybe even like a dash of romance. Haha. That's a great way to put it. While we've definitely, gleaned some insights into their courtship rituals and those potential factors that influence mate choice, the intricacies of their long-term bonding still remain an active area of research. Each new study adds a piece to the puzzle, but the full picture is still emerging.
It's exciting to think that there's still so much to learn about these seemingly familiar birds. It makes you realize that even with all our scientific tools and technology, nature still holds plenty of secrets.
Absolutely. It just underscores the importance of continued research and observation. Who knows what fascinating discoveries await us as we, delve deeper into the world of the mandarin duck.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for our listeners to continue their own, exploration. We've given them a glimpse into the life of this extraordinary creature, its beauty, its mysteries, its cultural significance, and the challenges it faces. Now it's their turn to dive deeper, to uncover their own insights, and maybe even to develop their own theories about the mandarin duck's enduring allure.
Yeah, I encourage everyone listening to seek out those additional resources we mentioned, explore the world of Japanese art and symbolism, and perhaps even, visit a local park or zoo to observe these captivating birds firsthand.
And remember, each time you encounter a mandarin duck, whether in the wild or in captivity, take a moment to appreciate not just its stunning appearance, but also the complex web of life that it represents. These birds are a testament to the power of adaptation, the beauty of biodiversity, and the importance of our role as stewards of the natural world.
Yeah, we've only just begun to unravel the mysteries of the mandarin duck. And that's what makes this journey so captivating. There's always more to learn, more to understand, and more to appreciate about the natural world around us.
Well said. And with that, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of the mandarin duck. Thanks for joining us on this adventure.
Hello. They call me Palooza. If you like the content of great classics of ufology and mystery, subscribe to Gamma Mega Luz. I forgot. If you want to support the channel, I can press the super thanks button. It's under each video. You found me. How about you give my work a like?